Hey, AfterBuzzers, welcome back to the SNL After Show. We're going to be breaking down the latest episode with host Idris Alba, musical guest Khalid. There's a couple of good cameos in here. We got some crazy stuff going on. Leslie's hair keeps getting taller. Who knows when it'll stop? We're going to do some news and gossip and do our special segment where we break down the anatomy of a sketch for you, so stay tuned.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz...
Hey guys, woo-hoo! SNL HBO. There's a lot of energy in here tonight, guys. Get ready for this.
A whole lot of knowledge too.
Do you want to know why? Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and intro Steph right now because it's her birthday.
Yes, it is. 26, baby, feeling better than ever.
Yeah, so everyone make sure to blow her up on social media.
Which is why we're matching today. We're both in leather because I requested.
She called me before the show and was like, Amy, you better put on some leather.
Or it's just that we're so in tune all the time.
I think that's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's beautiful. Speaking of a big old mwah, this episode, Idris Alba, are you a fan of his? What were your expectations going into the episode?
I'm totally a fan of his, like 100%. I was a little nervous though because I don't know if he was. Coming into it, I was like, I don't know if he's like Sterling K. Brown, where I think I could picture him being able to play like a really dramatic role, because This Is Us is basically a soap opera, and that's basically comedy to me. But his roles are like very action-packed, serious, sexy, a detective man. Like, I don't know. So I was a little worried, but he's a great actor. So if you're a good actor, you can do at least the minimum.
Yeah, exactly. Like when you think of Luther, you think of comedy. Hilarious.
So funny.
Oh, man. Well, let's just jump in. So we had a cold open that was not Trump. Nice to see that. Just a different monster.
Yeah, just another American monster.
American monsters, yeah.
Bree
Shout out to Bree, just crushing it right now. Again, the energy everywhere. In the booth, out here, we're all going nuts tonight. All for your birthday. All for your birthday, girl. All right, what were your thoughts on the cold open? Did you see the interview? What'd you think just overall of the opening?
I don't know if it's the best thing to, I get where there's comedy in it, specifically in that scene of the interview that actually happened and you can't believe it really happened. It's one of those pictures where you're like, was this created for the internet? Oh no, it actually happened. Like, R. Kelly really did that, and she was so unbothered and iconic. But I don't know, like, it fell flat for me. Like, I don't know where the joke was other than exactly what happened.
Yeah.
And I did see the interview, obviously, so it's a really heated subject. It's really packed, which they're usually good at unpacking, but it was okay to me.
Yeah, I agree. As soon as I saw that was the opening, I was like, okay, A, it makes sense, huge storyline.
Yeah.
For it to be in there, but B, ooh, yeah, like, I was immediately just like, I wonder how they're going to handle this. I think it was funny how they just made him, like, they kept calling to, like, that moment when he just, like, didn't know if, like, when he's like, is this camera on? And so, like, Kenan just kept being like, wait, is this the camera? Is that, like, I thought those kind of call-out moments were funny. But, yeah, agreed. I think what I really would have liked is, like, kind of more of a shout-out for Gayle King, because she is incredible. And I almost would have liked to see a sketch centered around something on her
mindset.
Side. Yeah.
Like, if it was an internal monologue of what was going on in her head during that interview, that would have been epic, because she is not only A+ journalist, reporter, she was completely classy, in control, and like, what are you doing? You're not gonna intimidate me right now. But also, Kenan should not have been playing him. That should have 100% been Chris Redd.
I didn't say it, guys. It wasn't me this time.
But, right? Like,
agreed, yeah.
I literally was like, are they doing like a play off of it? Like, is this not supposed to be R. Kelly, until they actually started doing it? I was like, this is a reach, like, with looks and stuff, and especially just naming our panel's favorite movie, Popstar. Like, we know his character can reach like that like totally dramatic, exaggerated place.
Yeah.
Like he basically was R. Kelly and pop star in parts.
That's true. You would have just had a reprise. No, I totally agree with that because again, like I think a lot of the humor would have come from those moments, and Kenan plays everything like so silly. It's always like big kind of silly comedy with him, and it wasn't an impression either. I mean, it was because he like slightly changed his voice a little bit. Hallelujah! But it still wasn't like an actual good impression.
Yeah, he must have pitched it.
Yeah, he never really got to that point. Also, though, same thing on the other side. I'd like to see if Ego has a good Gayle King impression.
Yeah.
Because Leslie doesn't even try to do impressions.
No, I think it was completely cast wrong where when it started, I was like, this just doesn't seem right. And I think that's totally it.
Yeah.
It should have been Ego.
Who knows? Maybe Ego has like a terrible Gayle King impression. And again, you know, maybe Leslie was involved in the writing process on this. There's always so many backstage politics, but
it just seemed like a good role for Ego to do.
Yeah. Would have liked to see that. But then let's go into the monologue. I listened to him talk all day.
Oh yeah, like if he did any sort of audiobooks, I don't care what the topic is, what the book is, I'd listen. And then my first note is green suit. Yes. I love the outfit. I loved what he had to say. I think, given his talents and what he is capable of, so to speak, in the SNL world, I think he really did. It was written well for him. I feel like he's one of those people, he's so mysterious, I don't really know much about his life, so I think we got some of that, but I would have loved to know even more, like, secrets on his life.
Yeah.
But I thought it was really great for especially for him.
Agreed. Yeah, I think, you know, we were kind of like trashing the monologues a little bit this season just because they weren't, you know, they were just so short and they weren't really writing much. But I do like that. I think there's been a theme this season of just actually having monologues. Even though some have been too short for me, like this was nice. They just gave him some jokes, had him tell some stories, you know, guaranteed. They just went in, he went in with some of the writers, said, here are some things about my life, and then they worked out some jokes and gave him like a nice little storytelling monologue, which is cool. Like, it's not always going to be like the absolute funniest thing you'll ever see, but it also doesn't feel forced, you know, because they're just getting to go up and talk about themselves with a couple of punchlines in between.
Totally.
So I enjoyed it. And I agree with the suit.
So nice.
All right, so they're big on the game shows lately. I mean, I know that's always kind of been a staple at SNL and in sketch comedy in general, but lots of game shows lately. So this one was Can I Play That? Which was just kind of like a spin on what Hollywood is finding acceptable these days of who can play what role. So what were your... I know a lot of people have been talking about this one. What were you thinking?
I really like the premise
Yeah.
because I do this all the time. I'm like that D-bag at home, like, you shouldn't be playing that role and you know why, honey. Like, I'm so judgmental about it. But I thought that's a funny social commentary where they expanded on it well. I love Beck I think sometimes Kenan does the best like shows like this hosting, like as the host of the competition show or whatever they're doing. But I really like when Beck does it too. And I think this is one, I know he was featured in it, but he still, I think, could have been the host of it.
Yeah, true. I think Beck and I really like Mikey. Also as a show host. I like both of them, but also we just came off of last week where Bill Hader guested, and like you're never gonna have a better game show host than Bill Hader.
That was like, I've been thinking about that sketch a lot.
Yeah.
I stand Bill Hader so hard, it's not even funny. I actually cover Barry because on AfterBuzz TV because I love him so much, which is a phenomenal show. You guys should check that out if you haven't. But agreed, he killed it. Like, that's what I want to see all these show host performers doing.
Exactly.
Like that level of detail.
Yeah.
Like from the face expressions to like switching how you act to each person. I loved it.
Yeah, because you add to it, you know, and if you're not doing that, then it's just kind of like where Kenan is just kind of saying the lines, and it's Kenan being Kenan as a show host. But I thought this was nice too because like you said, on point with the social commentary, but they also kind of switched it up. A lot of times in game shows, they'll just be like, here's the question, answer, 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 3 different beats. Question, answer, answer, answer. And this one changed up where they were asking questions back to the host and he was answering. And then the like lightning round kind of thing at the end where they just had to list all the people that, or the types of people that they thought they could play, which also, oh my gosh, I love back for the white guy. White guy who gains 50 pounds and slave owner. And then he's like, nope, that's it. That's it.
The slave owner part, I was like, wow.
And you know, it's funny. I thought Beck and Cecily had really funny beats in that. The stuff for Idris was fun, but I thought it could have been stronger because I loved for Cecily also that she could be mom, horny mom, white teacher who helps minorities, no, white teacher who learns from minorities, and then president of the United States, but only for a comedy. Like, it's so rich. It's so good.
I loved it. I think Cecily, I'll talk about her more in the upcoming sketch. I think she killed it the entire night, anytime she was in there.
I think we may be on the same page at Leather Page. We're there. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Bok Box. Speaking of don't know what you're saying, let's talk about Bok Box.
Oh my God, this was hilarious. Do you agree?
Oh, Kate is the creepiest
Oh my
human.
God. If you guys don't know what MoMA is, right? Momo. Like, this is seriously creepy stuff. Like, this is only something this generation of humans would come up with.
Yeah.
Where this guy, like, this character comes on screen and tells you to, like, self-harm and go on WhatsApp so it's unmonitored. But anyways, what a good spin on something that's relevant and happening in society, but then completely taking it into a different dimension.
Yeah, like, this is one of those sketches that I want to see how this pitch was created and who was just like, I don't know, what if Momo was like a chicken? Was a mascot for a fast food place. What about that? What if we got Kate's crazy eyes to come in and terrify children everywhere?
Oh my God, her cheekbones must have killed out there. That level of like Grinch face.
Oh my God, so intense. Again, props to the makeup and costume department too. And again, I just love Heidi so much. She just adds so much for me, and just the way that like, her just screaming and running out of the car when Kate appears in the back seat. It's and the length of it too is perfect. I thought from beginning to end, this was hilarious.
I loved it.
So the next sketch we're actually going to save the PowerPoint class. We're going to talk about that at the end of the night because we want to do that for the anatomy of a sketch. Spoiler alert, it made me cry. I was laughing so hard.
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
I would be lying if I say I didn't just pee my pants just a little bit. I was like, what?
That actually legitimately scared me. Maybe more than Kate as Momo, the chicken. Well played, Brie. Well played. So let's skip over that for now. The Impossible Hulk.
Oh my God,
Your girl
another.
Cecily.
What a sketch. What a sketch. I literally was like, where are they going with this? I didn't really know, because at first I was like, this is kind of offensive that they're making him do this, like, where they're going to make him the aggressive black man again, and like everyone's like doesn't want to help him. But then the twist was so on point, and perfect sketch for him. He executed it so well, and only Cecily could have upped his performance because he killed it. But Cecily was next level.
Yeah.
Like, this is one of my favorite Cecily sketches because she embodied that, like, Karen at the barbecue, like just screwing over nice family's barbecue because you're uncomfortable with whatever unpacked racism you have.
Karen at the barbecue with her unpacked racism. And you know, it's funny because everyone listening right now, I'm sure, is going, yeah, I know that person. I know Karen. I've met her before. So well said. Again, speaking of like great social commentary sketches, and it's funny, I did the same thing at the top. I almost was like, ooh, I don't know if I even like how Idris is playing it, and then I was like, oh,
yeah.
But yeah, Cecily's intensity in this, and that's where I feel like she shines so hard, is her commitment to things, but also like she takes that intensity level just like through the roof. Which is needed.
Everything in her body movements, her face expressions, her voice, like the volume of her voice, her tone, and the words that she was saying is exactly like you. It's unbelievable to me, but you guys have to know when you look up these videos of white people calling the cops on like completely innocent black people. They sound like this.
Yeah.
Like, you're like, what? No one's touching you.
Yeah.
No one's, like, coming at you. Like, when she goes, let go of my arm. I need everyone's name right now. Like, who gave you the permission?
And it was just like, I'm not touching your arm. Like, what a great way to like be able to put that commentary spin on that. And that's why I was really impressed with this episode, because there are a lot of just like silly funny ideas, but there are also a lot of really good social commentaries where it didn't have to be on the nose, which is where they fall into that like political trap a lot of times of just, here's what is happening in politics and here's a joke. So I think it's fun when you get those really strong point of view sketches, and this was one of those.
Yeah.
So this was a standout for me. I'm being aggressed. I'm gonna start saying that all the time.
I'm a white
now.
emboldened lady.
Yes. Their specificity this episode was on point. Okay, so speaking of social commentary in this next one, the gold diggers of the WNBA. Not sure I'm on board with this one. We were talking about this a little bit before we went on air. I know that I see what they're trying to do of talking about how, like, yes, like female athletes are very underpaid compared to their male counterparts, but it never really got to a point of like being that aha moment of like, oh, here's the like funny take on it. It was just them being like, oh yeah, her Corolla that she drives. Or, oh yeah, she makes $60,000 a year. And you're just like, well, it's not funny. That's just that's a pay gap.
I laughed every time that happened because I'm like, okay, you're touching on like the real, because they're completely screwed over, and it's like the same thing across all women's sports.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like, it was one of those, and they do this oftentimes with sketches centered on women's rights and like women's equality, where they I'm like, I don't know exactly where you were going. They've had some where I'm like, you killed it, like you really made like a funny stance on how we get screwed over. This one I was like, what is your point, Bob? I need elaboration.
We need to bring Karen in here.
But I love the three guys. I thought their outfits killed it.
That's like, they were funny together, but I just felt like this missed the mark. And then I also thought it was going to take a different turn when Cecily came over and was kind of the typical dude. When Idris came up and was like dancing on her, and she was just like, or when she was trying to dance with him, and he was like, no, we're just trying to have a good night, and she's like, fine, and like is like a complete dick to them, because that's the role reversal of like when you know you're just out with your girlfriends and the guy says, do you want to dance? You say no respectfully, and he gets mad. So I was like, oh, okay, they're gonna do role reversal kind of.
Yeah, like you were saying,
it never got there.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Because it's like, on one end, you're talking about this side of the world I never will understand as women gold diggers for men's sports, because 90% of them are just so incompetent. I don't get why we're waiting to see them after they play their sports. So that was one side of it, but it was also like, you can't tie in that, which is a side of women culture in America, and then try to tie in the opposite side of women culture in America.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, that's not every sketch has to have some sort of like deep social commentary or narrative behind it. But yeah, that's the thing. Something like this does. Like, you can't have a sketch like that where it's and not have something underneath it. But it just felt like, it was just, I don't know, and especially like it was just International Women's Day.
Yeah.
And also, actually, in the world of sports, I'm a big soccer fan. The U.S. Women's National Team actually just sued over equal pay.
Hell yeah.
So,
yeah, because they freaking win all the time, and they make so much money in their jerseys. Like, they have a huge fan base in the tickets. They sell more tickets because they actually win.
Yep.
And they're actually good, and there's a lot of like people on those teams that have become celebrities in their own right off the team, but also like still representing U.S. women's soccer. So screw you guys. Run us our checks.
yes, please. Well,
Thank you so much.
So obviously, we just super loved that sketch anyways.
Can you tell?
Yeah. So let's talk about musical guests for a minute. Khalid, are you a fan?
Oh my God, yes. That voice.
So smooth.
Like, bring me to heaven, Khalid. Like, wow. I've always liked him. He's one of the people that I actually search to listen to on my Apple Music because I really do love his music and his voice. And he always has, I assume he writes his own lyrics, and they're always that classic R&B where it's like, as a feminist, I really like this song, but it's really killing me inside to sing. He doesn't do that, and I appreciate that.
And you know, it almost even shows in his performances too. Like he's just like, he's someone who's enjoyable to watch too, because he's one of those artists that doesn't just go kind of crazy with it. You know, it's just like, it's just him.
Yeah.
His band, his backup.
Yes.
It's just him singing. Like you get to actually appreciate listening to him because
It's
he's
like
not
live
like being
music.
some douche like Kanye all the time.
Oh my God, yeah.
Oh boy.
So I really liked him.
Yeah. No, yeah, agreed. I like both. The first one was so short.
I know.
I wanted more.
Me too.
I like blinked and it was over, but I am a fan. So let's jump into update before we get to the guests. Any standout jokes? Any standout moments before the guests?
Honestly, I thought they killed it. I thought they were on fire, but usually I kind of lean more towards Michael Che being more on fire. But I think Colin Jost came in hard this week. Like everything he was saying was short. And I forget specifically what it was, but there was a few like really short jokes, total Colin Jost type jokes, and they were hilarious.
Yeah.
And the crowd loved it.
Yeah, that's true. The crowd is really into it. And also, of course, there are people who are booing for random things where you're just like, ooh. And
Oh
it's
yeah, and Michael Che was like, what?
Yes. What was even?
Oh, they were booing. What was it about? Shoot. It was about something that was totally contradicting.
Yeah. I know, because I know it happened a couple times, but I loved and this was mostly Jost, the Manafort stuff of like his sentence. Oh, but then Che kind of jumped in after that, but I loved that it was saying that he was basically sentenced to college. I was like, oh my God, that's so true. It's so sad. And I think my other favorite joke was Ash Wednesday when white people show their support for 21 Savage. Love it.
I love that was it. That was the first one where I was like, dang, that was really good. Really good. I'm so glad you brought that up.
Good stuff. So in the top, I mentioned got a big cameo. Got Gwyneth Paltrow coming on.
Yeah, Scoop.
I really would like to know how, I wanted to look it up and I didn't have time. If anyone knows, put it in the comments. I'd love to know how that came about. If like Gwyneth had just seen her do that character of Baskin before and was like, this is hilarious and got in touch, or like.
I totally respect her for coming on.
Yeah.
I do wonder the process because she wasn't that first sketch came out when Goop got completely trashed because there was problems with the ingredients. I mean, that's what her whole sketch is about.
Yeah.
So I love when people like put their emotions aside and we're like, it's a joke. Like it's funny. Really though, I do want to know what's in your products, but like it is funny.
And God, once again, props to Heidi. My goodness, she just utilizes every tool available to her for comedy. Her voice, her pacing, just everything about her. And you can tell at the end, she was just having so much fun. Like, and her and Gwyneth were great in their like timing of just like going back and then just being like, "Goo number one Goop," and just trying to finish each other's sentences, and they're such dum-dums.
Yeah.
Such little dum-dums.
Loved it.
Baskin and Pfeiffer. And then so we had the two stand-ups dueling almost back to back. We had Pete and then Leslie. So first, let's talk about Pete. Always a fan of Pete. Not my favorite from him.
Not my favorite from him. I felt like it wasn't as prepared as usual.
I almost felt like it was like, hey, here's a chance to be provocative.
Yeah.
And then he didn't write all that much.
Yeah, because usually he does like kind of that dick humor where you're like, like that's annoying, but kid's got a point. Like, but this one, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I'm just not with that at all. Like, because at the end of the day, it's not just the music. You're actually putting money in monsters' pockets. So that's where you draw the line. Like, that's like, you have to know it's more than just you listening to a song. And there are so many good artists in the world, and I know people like R. Kelly and Michael Jackson, specifically Michael Jackson, put out like one of the greatest music of all time. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think this one missed the mark, and I think it was just like this is Pete's brand. Let's have Pete do more of his brand, and this one just wasn't funny.
Well, stick on the hypocrisy of women dating younger men being a complete like freak out moment in America, but not for men dating younger women. I like that. That's
was
funny.
hilarious.
Expose that. Keep on that. It doesn't need to be anything else.
Yeah, when he just went through all those names at the end, I was like, oh, that's good. That's good.
It's really good.
And then Leslie planning her funeral.
I thought parts of this were funny, and I saw like, this is stand-up Leslie.
Yeah.
Do I think it was necessary? No.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's where a lot of times I am more of a fan of Pete, because there's a reason for him to be on. It's something topical. It's something where he delivers a strong point of view on it. Whereas Leslie will just come on and kind of like scream about men sometimes.
Yeah.
And this was, again, I'm always so torn on Leslie, because I love her energy, I love her personality, and I do like most of her stand-up. I just didn't think that this had much of a reason, but there were some really funny specifics in it.
I think this one could have been a sketch too, in a different form, like her actually planning the funeral.
Yeah.
And like making arrangements, and
That's
it's like
true.
not happening.
That would actually be great, because there were a lot of really funny specifics in it, but then I just didn't care about it.
Yeah.
So, hair on point though. Hair always on point.
Yeah, it's true. It is true.
So we have the Premier League sketch.
Before we talk about this topic,
yeah.
I just want to thank you guys in the chat, on YouTube, on iTunes listening. Thank you for making us the ESPN of TV Talk. We always appreciate the support and your comments. One way you can help us is if you're on YouTube, make sure to hit that like button. Leave us a comment after this, because we love to keep the conversation going. And if you're on iTunes, give us those 5 stars and leave us a rating. I love iTunes ratings. They're extra spicy, as I always like to say. But wherever you are, keep talking to us. I got some tweets last week, and we can talk about SNL our entire life, so
all day.
Never stop the conversation, and thank you for all the love and support.
Hell yeah. Thank you guys. Make sure you comment just to tell Steph a happy birthday, obviously.
Yes.
Oh, and also Ego, you share a birthday with Ego.
What?
Yeah, it's
what
her
an
birthday
honor.
today, too.
Put her in a sketch. Thanks.
For my birthday and hers, use her.
Listen, Lauren, I need Ego in a sketch now.
Today. New
and
SNL
Amy on
going
your
now.
writing staff now.
My agent, everyone, Steph Sabraw. Thank you. So yeah, a few sketches left for the night. We got the Premier League sketch. Basically a dum-dum who plays sports and comes on to do hosting and cannot.
Yeah. I thought this was the easiest sketch for Idris to do, he looks like a footballer, like completely, and he could definitely embody that. I wouldn't be surprised if they have him playing some sort of like role in the future for this.
Yeah.
Was it that funny? No.
Yeah.
Did he do a good job? Yeah.
Well said, because also like easy for him, easy writing. Easy jokes, kind of the low-hanging fruit towards the end of the night. It is what it is, but I do think that he was funny in his delivery of it, and just like he's such a like bro.
And drawing a penis will never not be funny, I do have to say.
That's true.
Especially over men playing soccer, like draw those penises.
Let's call a spade a spade.
What's the plural of penis? Is my question to everyone in the chat.
Peni.
Peni.
It's good stuff here on the SNL After Show. And that brings us to Rodolfo.
Oh, Rodolfo.
That's how you segue without making any sense.
We are the queen of pivots.
Pivot. So, funny idea, and then it didn't do much. But I think it's a very funny idea to have a stand-in for the magician and for everything to be for the wrong sized person. And props to Leslie.
Yes. Well, Also, I hate to talk about women's bodies and looks, but like I always see her working out, but like we never see her in anything that's not like a tracksuit.
Yeah.
Really, she has such a great body. Like her legs are amazing. I really like. I was like, should I comment on this? I have to. Like your legs are so great.
She's
Leslie.
been hitting that leg press.
Yes,
for sure.
But I thought the outfit was amazing. Like wearing like the underwear under the gym suit. And she's like, who knew I was a size 2 too? I love that.
Yeah, I mean, fun stuff in it. Not my favorite sketch.
No.
And then the last one of the night was actors out to drinks, and obviously one just getting super jealous at the other one for booking. We live in LA. I'm an actor.
Know this.
We know actors. We all know this person.
Yeah.
This was such a great opportunity for Beck to just be crazy, intense, committed Beck. To this guy who's just freaking out over someone getting booked.
Yeah, I love Beck. I think he anything he does is amazing to me, but I think he stole this sketch for sure and saved it in a lot of ways.
Yeah, because it wasn't like, it's definitely a kind of a throwaway end of night sketch. You can tell why it was in there at the end. But yeah, just his reaction of just no, like, and the way it went up from there, I was really, I just wanted to watch him just freak out. I also will watch him do karate all day.
Yes.
Tight karate moves.
Yes.
All right, so let's take some time to really flesh out this sketch.
Oh, my favorite special segment from our own Amy. Let's hit it.
Let's hit it.
Oh my God, yes, Bree.
Bree, bringing
We
it.
have the best producer. It's
We
not
do.
McNeil.
We do. Our
I'm
producer's better than your producer.
Okay.
I hope we're gonna do the next episode fully in those voices.
Yeah,
so
Penelope.
get ready.
They should bring back that sketch ASAP. Oh, I guess Kristen Wiig needs to be there, but
She can host. So this was, I was crying. I thought this was the funniest of the night. One of the funniest I've seen in a while. That was just a funny sketch. Didn't have any big meaning behind it. No big commentary on social issues or politics. Kate and Adie, I know last week we were even saying too, anytime that they come on the screen together. So always so happy. This was a great sketch though, because obviously the premise shows up very soon. You know the game. You have the beats of 3, but it's interesting to see the pairs when they do that. So they have the 3 different pairs of people. A lot of times when they do this, it's also the fish out of water sketch where one of the 3 is the one who's like the weirdo. A lot of times they'll go back to the other 2 to provide some sort of comedy or a little bit like to support it. I like that in this one they didn't. They did the 3 beats up top so that we know like, okay, you're fine at it. You're fine at it. Oh, these bitches are terrible, and they're going to be the sketch. So I liked that they were like, you know what, let's just focus in on yours. And then from there on, that's all it was, because it really allowed it to just move and heighten at a pace that's a lot quicker than they usually get to do in other sketches. And also there was no need to. There wasn't anything funny about the first 2, unlike in something like when they do the Barbie Instagram posts, when the other 2 kind of add some sort of humor, or Kate's abduction sketch. There's some sort of humor brought by the other 2. This was all Kate and Adie.
Yes.
This is the Kate and Adie show. I just want to take you through the slides, because the first one was squares with the word help. The second one was supposed to be things they're passionate about, and it was cornbread with a line through it, and then Carole King, but only King was a million times on there, Wayne Brady, and it just kept going from there. And they had the opportunity to really heighten each one because they didn't keep circling back to the other guys when you already knew what the premise was. You already knew the game, and then we just wanted to focus on them. We also got more from Kate and Adie in their reactions. The way that they just immediately started crying as soon as their little screen with help came on, I was absolutely in love. The way that they played it, the specifics they gave at the end when they went on their rant of things that they have done in their life that are just embarrassing or stupid. Kate blew up her house. Adie, I fell in church and I showed my ass. Like, the specific weird things that they came up with, and even in the slides themselves, the knives. Just pictures of knives and the word undo. Wayne Brady in the corner. A speaker in the boy's eye because they tried to make a music video, which was too ambitious. Every single thing about this sketch was perfect to me. And I think they play, and it's at first I was like, oh, why are there so many people? It played perfectly.
Yeah.
I didn't think they needed the lines from Leslie at the end, but I do think that like the call out at the end, just like for a quick little button, was nice. But I thought this was perfect from top to bottom.
Yeah, I wish I saw a live reaction of you watching this. I thought it was such a good sketch, and I want them to build them two as a duo even harder than they do, because we got a lot of those partnerships in the like previous seasons of SNL, like way a few years back, specifically the Tina type mix, but specifically Maya and Amy a lot of times would pair in these sketches, and I think that they equally have like a power that could be like that, but I would love to see it more developed, because when they do sketches together, it just kills. And this is a perfect example where they're both like some of my favorites of all time, and it's nuts watching them on a screen together.
They just have so much fun. I think we mentioned it last week, buddy comedy. I want a buddy comedy with those two.
Oh, yes.
Please. So that was definitely my favorite of the night. Do you have a favorite of the night?
That was my favorite of the night. Or Hulk.
Yeah.
And Momo gave me a run for my money too, but the White Hulk, just because I love the commentary too.
Yeah, super strong. I honestly, this whole episode, up until the end, the last few, you could tell they were like losing steam towards the end, but up until then, I thought this was a really strong episode.
Yeah, agreed.
Huh. All right, sweet. Well, I think you have some news and gossip for us.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Okay, so I was shocked to find out Pete Davidson was seeing Kate Beckinsale. Obviously, I'm a supporter to like, well, she's hot as hell. He's like has this weird hotness going for him, so it works. But I love that he chose to implement that in his comedy, which I talked about because they're getting a lot of flack for their age difference. And sometimes I do think age difference is weird, but once like someone's a certain age, I think that you're an adult. You know what I mean? And it's so unfair when women get criticized when men are literally rampaging around the streets looking for kitties. So I don't want to hear it. In other news, the singer Khalid, his album Free Spirit will be dropping April 5th, 2019. You can pre-order it now, and he sampled 2 of his songs on that album. Oh yes, do you guys see that kiss between Kate and Pete D.A.? You get it? Ha!
You were just calling him Petey.
I'm standing that. I think that's cute.
I'm into it.
Yeah. Is it a rebound? Maybe. I'm not going to speculate on that,
Totally
but
is.
whatever. Have fun. Do your things. And then while you're doing your thing, listen to Khalid.
I love it.
The end.
Well said. I'd also like to point out that at the end, I thought it was a really nice moment. Leslie showing the T-shirt with Brody Stevens' face on it.
Yes.
Who, I don't know if you guys are familiar with him, but he was a great comedian who we lost to suicide a little over a week ago now.
Yeah.
And he was incredible and just so weird and inventive in his humor. So I thought that was a really nice moment for her showing that. And then a segment that he used to do called Push and Believe, where he interviewed himself on Comedy Central. So I thought that was a really cool shout out at the end. And then they also got to, on a lighter note, say happy birthday to Ego at the end too. So
yeah, the Brody Stevens, it's just so sad. I went to the Comedy Store this weekend and they had like a banner up for him. And it's interesting. I saw him literally 3 weeks ago perform.
Oh,
yeah. And it was, I will say, because I've seen his stuff before, he was really off. And he even said, like, it's not a good night for me. So it's really creepy to think about in that way. And it's just so sad. And if anything, I hope we push the conversation forward on suicide and what people are going through personally.
yeah,
Especially
definitely.
comedians, because they're funny, yeah, but a lot of times it's because they're covering some dark stuff that's been in their life or is in their life.
Yeah. So, like you said, well said. Hopefully it pushes the conversation forward. And in the meantime, glad to see Leslie repping for him and giving a little shout out to him. But so we are going to be off for a bit. And then SNL is back on March 30th with host Sandra Oh. And if you are a fan of this band, Tame Impala.
Okay.
You can let me know how badly I just butchered it.
It's okay because all I hear is Sandra Oh.
Yeah, that's all we need to know.
All I hear is Sandra Oh, and I am so excited. Another Asian American woman gonna kill this SNL stage.
Get it.
Yes.
Very excited for that episode. In the meantime, where can we find you on social media?
You guys can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Steph Sabraw, and you can tell me happy birthday if you feel like it.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Amy Maestri. You can tell me happy birthday, too.
Yes,
It's not my birthday, but
we're
know,
twins.
Float your boat.
Pleather twins.
Pleather. See you guys.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV. Our founder, Kevin Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.